Manhood, brought to you in part by Solomon's Bespoke.
This is Manhood. Thanks for joining us, and we're going to be talking about another big topic, one that I'm sure a lot of you can certainly relate with. And sometimes I ask myself, an imposter syndrome or a pretender to the throne, as some people may say, do you really indeed have to fake it till you make it? So that's the topic here today. Fake it till you make it. To my right, Johanse Audike, behavior change consultant. To his right, the one and only KG, music producer, podcast. KG, what's the name of the podcast?
Talks with KG.
Talks with KG. You should check it out. Making some waves around Trinidad and Tobago. Some much needed topics being discussed there. And a style of journalism that many may say is a needed one. Mm-hmm. I'll certainly like to have him back when we talk about speaking out and the testicular fortitude to do so. So KG, a regular on this show. And to his right, Niall McNish, provocateur, vibes god. I don't know if putting the two of them together is a good pairing in this case, but again, we talking fake it till you make it.
Gotcha.
So before we go on, I just want to read what I have here with regards to faking it till you make it. So it says, fake it till you make it means to act confident and competent, even if you don't fully feel that way, hoping that by projecting that image, you will eventually gain the confidence and skills to be truly successful. It's about pretending to be something you're not until you actually are, or pretending to be making something until you actually are making it. Mm-hmm. So there's many ways in there you could take it. Depends perspective. You could take it from a negative, or you could take it from a positive. But we really had to explore it in its entirety.
Is it a good thing? Is it a good thing or a bad thing?
I mean, I would say, again, perspective. It depends how you make it to say. So if I'm really trying to get that job, they people say, dress for the job that you want, mm-hmm. right? And so if you put on a suit and you go out there with a suitcase and you go into an area and you're knowledgeable, and you might not have maybe the qualifications to do it, but you're still knowledgeable about the job, and therefore it could be perceived as faking it, mm-hmm. and you can do it and know that, hey, once you give me the opportunity, I can do that job and I can do it very well. Then in cases like that, I don't see anything wrong with that.
What you just said is it's okay to lie on your resume.
Nah.
I didn't say that. You want to correct him there.
He definitely didn't.
Thank you.
Well, let's talk of it practically. Mm-hmm. I'm putting on a suit to go to a job that I don't have the qualifications for. The first step is usually a resume of me saying, this is who I am, mm-hmm. to our employer. Mm-hmm. Technically, for me to pass that first step, I have to lie on my resume.
Well, you usually would have to, right? So, for example, if you were going into a restaurant, mm-hmm. and say, for example, the normal thing is they want all these culinary qualifications, and you don't have them, but you can cook, mm-hmm. right? And you can get in to the restaurant without lying, and you get in there, and you can be the best chef that they've ever had.
Mm-hmm. Understandable, but how do you get in? The difficult part was how you getting in there without lying.
That is why the fake it till you make it part come, because let's just say, using your example of the man in the suit. Let's say the man don't have the job yet, mm-hmm. but he dressed on the job, the suit and the briefcase, and he's knowledgeable, and he's walking around, right? And people asking him questions about whatever is the topic, and he's knowledgeable about it. You can't fake. Well, he's not faking the knowledge. If you really study it, mm-hmm. right, mm-hmm. and he's not making it up, he's speaking, but he don't have the job yet. He's not, let's say, a businessman or
he might
or
have the paper qualifications,
right? So in that case, if you ask him what is one-on-one, he could tell you two. He's not faking the knowledge, mm-hmm. but he mightn't be a professor yet. And he's not saying he's a professor, right? But he knows that's what he wants to be. So he's doing all the things that a professor may do, or the road to becoming a professor. So therefore, but he keep doing it until he's the professor. Right. So you're not lying and telling people, hey, I am a professor, or I am a businessman.
Let me give you a perfect example. KG, right? Mm-hmm. KG is now considered, for the most part, if you look in the background of what a journalist does, right? Mm-hmm. Does he have any journalistic qualifications? Nope. No. Yeah. But is his podcast now successful and people are looking at it, gaining knowledge? Is he asking pertinent questions and doing a deep dive? Yes. Yeah. So in other words, if you now look back and say, okay, well, KG, where's your journalistic background? You went to Costa, you went to UE? No. But can he be considered in the role now?
Yeah. So I would say that It's what you're willing to do, basically. Because, like we say in the music industry, for instance, we see this the most in the music industry. When it comes to faking it to make it, somebody jump out with one song and they already have 1, 2, 3 gold chain in your music video, had 2, 3 car in it, you have all the girls. So obviously you're faking it now. I guess where the negative side that's come from is when you're not willing to put in the work. You know, so if you're
not willing,
Well
you're
said.
not willing to put in the work. That is the negative side to faking it to make it. Well, to me, because if you want to be an artist, right, and you're coming in the game and you're wearing all your jewelry and all these things, nothing wrong with that, because I see aesthetic of what is an artist. But my question to you now would be, are you willing to do everything that is required of you to be an artist? A lot of people just fake it to make it, never make it, because all you're doing is faking it.
No, them not faking it to make it, you know, Jim just fake.
They're faking
They
it.
fake.
And you
That's
will
like-
never
oh,
make it.
That's
No,
the-
but you
no,
see,
I feel I
it
want to
have
say
no
that again.
work behind
I want to say
the
that
fake.
again,
No, but
KJ.
is that they faking it for validation? Because there have a difference
We're just
between
being
the two.
fake. All wrong. You're being
You're trying
fake.
to make it.
No, but
Well,
you're not trying to make.
yeah,
You're trying to make it.
Yeah,
You're just trying to
You're just faking
be
it.
You want to be
validated by it.
seen.
So
But some
it's a-
people think that just throwing on the suit may create
You're
that,
faking it.
that
You want to
opportunity.
make it,
Yeah.
but you're not willing to put
You
in
don't understand what is
what
needed.
it takes. You're
Yeah.
not willing to put any work.
So you might understand it, but you just don't want to
Yeah,
do it.
you want to do it.
But I do take your point that it was a maybe semantics at the start when I said you're not lying. But there are instances where you do tell a white lie because you know you can fulfill the role. So,
Like
for
what?
example,
Give me an
so
example.
so for example, if I know I am a really good gardener, I know I'm a landscaper, and I know I could do all these things and I've put in the work. But then you know you're applying for, say, a corporate position with regards to getting a corporate contract, like to do all the landscaping for X. They may have on the description, the requirement, the request for proposal or
Right.
RFQ, what it's called, request. You may have all of these different in the scope of works. It may say you need to have this, you need to have done that, and X, Y, and Z. But you know, listen, I didn't go to school to learn all of that, but I can do this and more based on my experience in the field. And therefore you go to job and you say, yeah, I have all of these qualifications.
yeah.
And
So you
get
lie.
it, so you lie. But I'm trying to
Yeah.
say to you, I'm not encouraging it.
Gotcha.
I'm saying, but in many situations, people who fake it till they make it have said some sort of white lie, or there's been some sort of miscommunication, or smoke and mirror to be able to get it because they know that they can do the job. Now, where we're talking about, if you know you're a good music producer and you have a good ear, but you don't have the degree and all these other things, but you can do the job, and when you get it, they're
Is
like,
that faking it to make it?
well,
You would say that I faking it to make it? Like let me just say me, for instance, as Robert say, you know, I'm the journalism, but I am not really a journalist,
You
right?
never call yourself a journalist.
I never call myself a journalist, right? But am I faking it to make it? Am I pretending to be
I
a
don't
journalist?
think so. I don't think so. I think you are a person who interviewing key figures in our society. Yes, that is journalism, but I won't think that you consider yourself a journalist even to this day. Even now, us talking it.
Right.
Yes, you're doing journalistic duties, but are you a journalist?
People that say no.
I would say no too. But
but you
if-
notice he didn't answer the question. I said,
he did-
people.
people say no. That he,
What
you
do
know
you
what?
say?
His skills of talking to politicians clearly are working. But
No,
what
but I'm asking, is it that is faking it to make it? Not like
Nah,
if
I don't think so.
answer the question.
Because I
Answer
I
the
would
question,
look at myself as just KG, right? Because I come from other parts of
Just
life,
KG?
like artists.
Just KG?
Well, you don't have a
KG.
right? I KG.
know that you are who you are based
Answer
on
the
society
question.
right
Right.
now.
Am
Are
I
you-
a journalist?
Yes.
I would hope I am.
No,
No, but
Would
the
you,
question I
would you
ask is-
consider
No, but-
yourself a journalist?
I'm in the journalistic field, and
Answer my question, KG. Would you
Well,
consider
again-
yourself a journalist?
all right, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So here we are now. Thank you for answering honestly, right?
Before
Okay.
hold that thought, right? I just want to read it again for you all. Fake it till you make it means to act confident and competent even if you don't fully feel that way.
Okay.
Right.
Hoping that by projecting that image, you will eventually gain the confidence and skills to be truly successful.
Right.
Right? So you could be sitting on in a state of imposter syndrome and not feeling that you are worthy or deserving of a particular position. But you still have to put your chest out and act accordingly until, as they say, you reach.
But then you're worthy, you know. 'Cause if you could act brave, right? You're acting brave.
Then
Then
you're
you're
still
brave.
brave. Then you're brave.
If you understand what I'm saying, and you said it was a matter of semantics, right? If once you're doing something, is it, you know? Let me say, if I just going as crazy as I could. Let's say I perform surgery, right? I study and I figure out how to do something minor surgery, but I never went to school. But I did that surgery successfully, right? Then
You're a
I'm not
surgeon.
faking it, you know.
You're a surgeon.
Then I actually did it. Now, if I go around and tell people, well, I went to this medical school and I went to ting, I am lying. But if you have the skill, if I say, yeah, you's a plumber, hear me, yeah, as a plumber, right? But me know if the man is a plumber. But he come and he do the work, wherever the work is, and he do it successfully. Then he not faking it, no, because he actually do the work. Now if he come and do dotishness, that's
Agreed.
different. Then you're faking. If you're doing the wrong thing. So if you say yes, wherever you say is, but the skills or the competency that required for it, you're not doing it or you can't fulfill it, then he is really a
Well, exactly, because then you're not faking it till you make it. Then you're just being a fraud. So I'll give you a perfect example. When I was studying in Germany, I got a job at Bosch, right? Building fridge. So you're just on a conveyor belt, and all you're doing is piece comes, screw. Piece comes, screw, right? But the job was paying well enough that it would help me put me through university. But to do that, you had to speak German. I went and learned. I learned enough to pass the interview, right? So yes, I was competent to an extent, but not. I wasn't fluent. I couldn't speak any German, but I knew enough to be able to answer the questions at the interview.
Okay.
Right? So once I got the job, I just became like, people probably thought I was the most, socially awkward person at that point, because it wasn't that I couldn't engage with them, but I was just trying to avoid now any of the managers or anybody coming around asking me any set of questions. And you see something in German, you Google it at that point, but the point is,
Right.
I did that for 6 months while I was cramming. And eventually, it came to the point that I could have been conversational. But for 6 months, I was I wouldn't say a fraud, I was faking it.
No, why?
No, he wasn't.
Because
I
So
would
you're
consider that
faking it. No, but in
That
terms
way
of where
you
the
wasn't
term
faking.
comes from, you're faking it till you make it. I had to put on something. I was confident I could do it and that I can learn. So by the time you could be almost discovered,
No, but you could have
I
done
knew.
it.
Well,
I don't
no,
call
I
that
couldn't speak
faking it.
German. I
But
couldn't.
what if?
but they didn't ask if you could speak fluent German. Yeah, if you could speak enough of a language to pass an interview,
To get instructions.
that is enough.
But you couldn't now understand when you go to the factory.
Yeah,
all
it's
the,
a different
the-
ball game.
correct, it's a different
so I was
ball
not
game.
gonna
You
say,
don't need to
'cause I
know.
can see fake in it also could blur the lines of what is real. Like for instance, somebody could be faking their value. And I could look at you and I could be like, well, you probably the biggest TV producer in Trinidad, because I probably meet you in certain spaces now.
Right.
And you put yourself in those spaces. So now I looking at you and thinking, I could pay you $100,000 to produce, when it probably has somebody else who probably not faking it like you, and they're not getting the opportunity now. And they could probably do the job better than you. I just say
In that scenario,
You
how he
know?
faking it?
because of, well, true. Now I'm saying because it's faking.
Maybe that
faking it
word,
to
maybe
make
that,
it-
that term.
Yeah,
I understand.
Well, it's based
I
on the
understand the
term.
concept.
Complex.
You
Yeah.
understand the concept
It's not a
behind
dictionary
it.
meaning, it's a
But
term.
I think that.
But is it a positive or negative thing? That I mean, is that
Well, it's
type of
supposed to be-
skill? Because it's a real thing where people, especially in Trinidad, you see a lot of faking it now. In different departments. Because you're putting yourself in certain spaces, you're marketing yourself.
You see,
know?
that is where I think the
Yeah.
fake, what it actually means is really we marketing
Right.
a product
right.
that
is really not that.
that not developed
not
as
that.
yet.
It probably
It's not.
that not
You
developed
see the word
as
you
yet.
use there? It's not developed as yet. But you have to, basically you're buying yourself some time, knowing that you. But again, the
Give
confidence.
me an example. Give me an example of
So
that.
for example, I'll tell you about the fellow who used to work with me when I was at TTT, CNMG, and he was a sports cameraman, and I'd always see him with a fancy phone, and he would buy a Benz, and I would say, "But how you doing that, boy?" And his famous thing used to be "fake it till you make it." He had to give the impression while he was going on to be a DJ to say, this is the look. If he pull up in anything outside of, like he traveling, or he have no phone, right, he wouldn't give the impression of a successful
Right.
DJ. So he bought the things until such time, because he knew he had the skill set
Yeah.
for the job, used to get the gigs, and now he could afford to do that without any sort of debt.
So what you're saying is that him buying the Benz and, you know, even though it was probably out of his reach financially, and the new phone
Totally.
and the watch, right,
Right.
was specifically just to get opportunities.
Definitely.
Yes. So he's faking it till
It's
he
a
made
real
it.
thing. It's a
No,
real thing.
no. And I go again a little
Right.
semantic. What are you faking? And
You think
that's
it's
the man.
value then?
He's faking the value because he
He's
can't
faking
afford it.
his success. He's faking his success.
Because I rather work
No,
with
not
somebody.
really. He could afford a Benz.
If I go by a studio and the producer have a Benz park up outside, and then I go by another studio and that same producer have a Tita outside, I rather work with the producer who had the Benz. I thinking his success come from music.
But that
when
your
he
fault.
probably never.
That your fault.
Well, he
It's
faking
you-
it. So
no,
I
no,
get
no,
tricked.
no,
That's
no,
marketing.
choose a
Right?
thing.
We're not-
Marketing.
we're
I
not
get
going on the
tricked.
behavioral science
That's the
of whether it's
marketing
your
of it.
fault or whether you're angry and your emotion.
Listen, you ask a
Is-
behavior, change constant, and they tell me don't go down the
But
lines.
I try to say that yes, it might be his fault for doing that, but that is the general.
Yeah.
That is the general thought. If you see somebody that, like, you go to a gym and you see a man come out with a big muffin top, right, and telling you about doing abs. Nobody's saying he doesn't have the knowledge
Right.
to tell you, but you see another person come there with an 8-pack. You listen to what that man says. It is perception.
But just like the girls on Instagram who just go on to the BBLs and then work out after and have health plans and all these things, and girls want to follow their routine.
That is a fake it till you
Like
make it, I
fake it till
guess.
you
Because
make it.
what they're doing is that they fake their health
fake the
and
image.
their image.
It's not real.
And they're selling their image to...
But one thing we can't fake is the fact that we had to go to a break, right? Because we had to make it to the next segment. Yeah, so let's do that. We talking about fake it till you make it. What are your thoughts?
This is manhood, and the topic today is fake it till you make it. So basically I was saying, can we talk about the negative part
For
of
sure.
Yes.
the fake it? Because you were saying, Robert, off camera that some people have a good talk game too. And I think all that is part of faking it till you make it too. The way how you articulate yourself, the way, how you carry yourself, and that could bring a lot of negative things in the room too, because I've been around a lot of people, again, I could only talk about the music industry side of things, where men come in the studio and they talk this talk and all, and about them kind of people who come and tell you, I have links in America and I could get visas and I could get this, and they'll take out the phone and they'll show you a million pictures of people who they link with already, but when it all comes down to the nitty-gritty, they don't have the basic skills of what the industry need. You probably know people, you probably was in certain rooms, wherever, and you could talk a good game. But now you go in and bring my career from here to here.
Yeah.
Because you're faking it, bro.
Selling
so,
ice to the Eskimos.
You're right.
You could real talk, give to the gab.
Yeah.
People will say, but real and truly, I have, there's no basis or substance that after that. And the people you drag along is a problem. So even though we want to say that fake it till you make it is a global phrase that people know, as it stands with that, I think it's a positive. But the wider understanding of faking it, or being in that field to pretend and not being able to deliver is where there's danger.
That part about the not delivering part. Because no matter whether you have the degree or you don't have the degree, you don't have the years experience or not, I think that results is what matters. So wherever you say you are, right, or you say you could do, you do it. If you can't do it, then that is the
But
the
the thing
problem.
is, we living in a world today too where it's social media, and everything is marketing, everything. So we seeing a lot of people in spaces just based on faking it. We had to be real. It probably had a time when, before social media and all these things, people had to have the skill set. But now, come on, like we seeing it so rampant now that like faking it to make it is the strategy now, basically. So if I want to do a podcast, I just have to put on a camera and
Go live.
look at somebody else's blueprint and probably follow that. You know?
But
And to me, all life part of faking
if
it
you
too,
do that, you ain't faking it
find that
because
faking it.
if I see, I'll use that same example. If I see somebody do a podcast and I think it's successful, right, and I want to be like them, and I copy their blueprint exact, and I do the same thing, and I interviewing people, and we having our podcast, then we having our podcast.
But I don't think it might be short-lived, because the person that probably not faking it have a true intention behind it, and the person that faking it probably just Again, let me say
let me
artist.
answer
Talking
that. So,
intentions, and then that's what really matters.
Well, I guess, but I see the word, well, as Robert say, faking it to make it is just the topic, right? But it's a real thing. Like, words have power now. People really faking it
Yeah.
Well, I agree.
to
because
make it.
When you now call yourself a journalist, you became one. That, to me, you have never mentioned you being a journalist before, right? But you saying that, along with the fact that of what you do, you just became one. Now, are you the best? No, you're probably on the newer side of it. But I'm sure if it is that this is something that you're passionate about and your intentions is to actually be the best journalist, or you want to talk to...
And I think intentions is very
So then
important.
that now doesn't make it side of fake it till you make it now.
Right,
You want to make it. It's have men who just wanna wanna hit you the fugazi. I just wanna be friends with you. So I will tell you all the things that you might want to hear right now, just so that I could be in your good graces now. But they're not thinking that I will have to deliver on these things that I'm saying. So just like back to your analogy that you said earlier, with the man in his suit, he put it on, everybody like, ooh, he looks like he's the part. 1 + 1 is 3.
And I wear that suit now.
1 + 1 is 3, right? For the layman who don't know maths, I will take your word for it, right? So now I am now following somebody who his intentions was never to make it.
True.
His intentions was never to become the best maths teacher, to really know maybe 1 + 1 is not 3, it's actually 2. That was never his intention.
So his intentions would have been what? To seem like a maths teacher?
What I'm saying is that his intentions was I want to know the truth behind 1 + 1. Right now, I think it's 3, right? But I will bluff to people and say that I feel like I know, but But his goal ultimately would to be, oh shoot, it's not 3, it's actually 2. But that knowledge of him having that power in that role is him wanting to know that the true actual number of what it is now. But the people who listening to him is what I really getting at is, as far as the people are concerned, they don't know any better. And that's where the teachers come in now with the
So
figures.
it's like this was in Trinidad. I don't know if it's still happening. I'm sure it probably is. It how people used to scam people with a travel agency. So they used to take your money, right, and say, well, they have this big package available and so forth and so on. So in that sense is that they're not delivering.
you got Ponzi scheme.
They're saying they are a travel agent, or they're saying that I could give you a vacation or whatever it is, but they're not delivering. So that part where you're talking about fake. So the intention is to steal your money, but they're saying they'll give you a vacation. So I just give that plain analogy because we're going about the delivering part of it and maybe the intention.
A good example also, I mean I cut you, bro, sorry.
Go ahead.
But a good example also is that, can you be a financial advisor if your finance is not in check?
If you're broke?
Yeah, like
If
you
you're
pose it
broke?
as a financial advisor. Like,
I mean, technically, yes, 'cause I
Like
can tell you
faking
what
it to
not
make-
to do.
Yeah.
I could say,
Because that's like-
don't be like me.
That's like alcoholics running the AA group, right? Even though, let's say they're not country, but they could tell you all their experiences to tell you,
Exactly,
hey, these are the things, this hammer real bad and things like that. So, yeah.
There's merit. There's certainly merit in eventually getting the practical side of something. You could go in initially, like the faking it part is you're going in there in theory because you're not fully, in the practical side of things, and you're not understanding the theory behind certain things. So even if you, KG, now calling yourself a journalist, yes, you may be doing it from the practical side and doing everything that a journalist does for all intents and purposes, but certainly there's merit in also now understanding some of the theory and the why certain things are being done. But it doesn't always have to happen. So, for example, as we're talking here about a podcast, I disagree to a certain extent with you, Johanse, because imitation is the highest form of flattery. And someone looking, why reinvent the wheel? If I want to be some of the people that I look at through my career, Jake Tapper, David Letterman, even now Joe Rogan, looking at a couple people to see how their style is, and then say, okay, what are they doing that's learnt and through experience that I like their particular style and their delivery of doing a particular interview or gaining from the interview. So for me, David Letterman's just a boss. The way he times his stuff, the way he gives his little joke every now and again, he sits back, he does some sort of introspection or ridiculed himself to get across a point. And therefore, if I, as a sort of callaloo or mix of those things, try to deliver, am I being fake? Am I being a fraud? No, I am taking that. But if I don't have my own personality coming through and I'm not skilled in it, no matter what I do, unless they're in my ears telling me, ask this question, do this, do that, I have now become that. So you're quote unquote faking it, not by the dictionary meaning, but by the phrase that we use, fake it till you make it. You are developing, as Niall pointed out, until such time that you put in the work to be established, to come out your shell, almost like a metamorphosis, until you're able to become a butterfly and recognize it yourself. Because a lot of times other people might look and say, hey, but KG is already a boss boy. But until you could see it for yourself, maybe come out of maybe a certain level of imposter syndrome, he wouldn't see, because remember what I read talks about confidence. The confidence in this. So you have to know that I can do this, and it's only taking me a certain amount of time or a certain amount of things that need to develop before I can now be considered this.
But that's what I said, and you say any disagreement with me. That's what I said, is that KG was saying, he was saying or implying that he had a problem with people copying. And I was saying it's okay to copy. Because if you see a blueprint that working, it's like when you're watching football and be a footballer, you see
you're right. It wasn't you I was disagreeing with then. It was you I was disagreeing with.
Right. You see a man do a beat or a dribble the ball a certain way. You go in and try it. Now, within trying it, some part of your personality must come out.
I think that part what you're saying is just a shallow part, as in you're just trying to do something. Like we just say, I have on a gold chain, and a man make a chain like mine, but it's silver, but he dip it in gold. He gonna get the same perception that people would perceive of me, which is, like we say, success. So I want to be like him. That is the part I'm talking about. Like you're grabbing. So you say you want to do a podcast, and I probably start my podcast off with a cell phone because I didn't have the finances to start it with 4 cameras. But then this person probably come and link with Robert and say I will start my podcast, and Robert gave him 4 cameras. So now his podcast looking on the same level as mine, but behind the scenes, that is not all you. But the people saying, look at Jimmy podcast. He podcast just as good as KG own. But really and truly behind the scenes, people who know what's going on would know that is not
more work
his.
and more.
Well, not necessarily more work. It's fake it till you make it. That then just comes to, fortune favor that other person. But if, like you say, man who dip in his gold chain, his silver chain in gold, it still has that as part of his intention. And on his journey, he has that as, okay, well, month 1, I have to be here. Month 2, month 3, month 4. And he's not a fraud. He's putting in the work. He just fortune favor the person who may now have the 4 cameras, and it didn't favor you as much because you don't have the 1 camera. It doesn't take away the fact that the skill set.
You'll think that most people, I don't know, there's my perspective. I think that most people who's fake it to make it, skip steps. I don't know what they think about that. Like there's always skip steps.
I think to make
the people who come in with the fake it to make it energy.
To make it, to actually make it, you can't skip steps.
You think so?
To actually
in this
make
world?
it.
No, I disagree.
You can't skip
because
you might get help,
The hard thing is
the help in making you skip, but you can't skip steps
when you're duplicating something. Most times somebody already lay a foundation. So let me use your same example, right? If somebody start a podcast with a phone, right? They didn't have resources to do anything else, and their podcast become successful and they have a certain format, and somebody come up, hey, I like this format, I want to do podcast too, right? But hey, I have access to 4 cameras now, right? They're not really skipping a step, because what you're saying or implying is that because I started a podcast, I now had to start with a phone because everybody else started with a phone. No, I see what you do. I add me, wherever it's me and my personality to it. So now, if you do it with a phone, I go in and do it with 4 cameras. And then somebody might see 4 cameras and do something else.
The reason why I say is skip steps, because I believe that life is a journey, and you learn things at every step.
That
From
is
the
true.
lowest, come straight up.
That is
so
true.
even when I was an artist, I had to perform on small stages to understand big stages. I see artists that went straight to the big stage. To me, that kind of way.
But if you're a big artist performer from the get
jump.
go, and you could, and you're just looking for the opportunity, KG. Like for example, before you step out in podcasts and to talk, when you first came on the show, right? Quiet, right?
True.
Now, KG, I could get up from this chair and KG could carry on the conversation.
Right.
But
to me, and that is
That's the growth that you was talking about.
you
Where you
need
came.
that.
Okay.
right, and then you jump out and you say, hey,
no.
I could.
You
I don't
need
think
that.
Robert can just grab me and just say, come on, CNC. And I don't think you would have do that if you didn't see some sort of growth.
But I did.
Even if it
There was
take
no
weeks, if
there,
it
there
take,
was
you
no
know.
talks with KG before that. It was you coming.
Really true? And then podcast, yeah?
Nah, you didn't start the podcast. You started right there, pal.
And I was real quiet, as you said.
And real quiet.
So-
And we were talking about music and just differently
Right,
because it was
right.
from the push of your influence in the music
Right.
industry.
True. I came as a producer.
And correct. And the misconceptions of a lot of people with regards to the music. And remember, I even said why we don't call it Trini good. And that was the
And
conversation.
I honestly felt like I wasn't ready all them days. Like, why used to just rock back a little bit and listen to all the talk and thing because
But then you jump out and now you have talks with
I
KG
grow
with
myself.
extra.
So that was
you
the
know,
fake it to
Rude
make it
boy
to make no
ambassador,
sense.
all kind of asking for 10,000 subscribers, all of these different things. So I'm saying to you that there was an element in terms of the positive term, fake it till you make it, that works. So would I say you skip steps? No, you had an opportunity, you took it from, you were given fortune in terms of being here, you started talks with KG, new people, put it out there, and then knowing you had the skill, the confidence is what I'm talking about. Now,
Right.
if that didn't happen, and then you say, okay, well, I just wanted the popularity and I really not good at this thing, then as a fraud.
it
Then
might not work. It would not work.
it wouldn't have worked.
Yeah.
Because bottom line is, one thing you can't fake. You cannot fake whether people have choice. And if you talking shit and they may want to listen to you, they will just simply tune off.
away.
True.
No, but I feel like KG, it sounds like you're saying that people had to pay their dues.
Yeah.
No.
To some degree.
No, I
some-
disagree.
I don't think so either.
Because paying your dues is still a subjective thing. If somebody like yourself lay groundwork, right? That don't mean everybody has to go through the same groundwork. You bring it to a level. Now they have their groundwork to do, and somebody else, and you keep
You build on
we keep going
shoulders,
like
right?
that, and that fake it till they make it. But overall, so far, I think it's positive because even like we use your example, you all just talk about KG, is that let's say when you first started, somebody could look at you and say that, hey, this man accustomed. And they could say you was faking, but you wasn't feeling accustomed, but you still come out and you still do it,
Right.
which is admirable, which I think everybody should and could do, because if I want to be on stage but afraid to talk to people, you know what? I still going on stage even though I'm frightened, I'm shaking.
So you're faking it.
But the point, no, you ain't because you're on the stage.
You do
if
it
you
already.
understand, if you
Faking
understand what
the
I'm saying,
emotion
now,
now.
you're on the stage.
You fake, but I tell them, but you feel, like I say, in the context, I know we had to go to a break, you're faking it in the sense that you're not, to people, the perception is, hey, he real confident and he have no fear of this thing. But you're
But
putting on a
inside-
front,
You
but
see that?
inside you trembling.
To people, I think.
Well, it's the people, that's where the faking it comes in.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
the,
yeah.
it
You
must be
could
the
talk
people.
about that after the break.
Perception.
yeah,
It must
but
be the people.
I think that have a major element.
So take us to the break.
Yeah.
I would say that we have to pay our dues just like how we have to pay any other due, right?
Yeah, so we-
And to pay ours, we'll go to the break.
This is Manhood, and we're discussing faking it till you make it. And I was making a point that it's okay if you're doing something even though initially you don't feel it, because sometimes you could change a feeling. If I am afraid to do something, I'm afraid to be on stage, I'm afraid to whatever, that is true, right? But because I don't go on the stage and say, well, I'm frightened, you know, or I'm holding my hand and cowering, and I say no, I'm putting on a brave face. That is not fake, you know, because the point is, for you to even put on a brave face takes a degree of courage. So therefore, you're not faking it anymore.
No, but you're faking it. But just like you said, your objection just now was with the fact that we're referring to people. You're faking it in front of people, like to the person. The person has this impression that you're putting on a facade, and the reality is inside you in bricks.
Let me give you an example then. Okay, if I feeling sad, right, and I'm not crying, I'm faking it. Am I hiding it?
Yeah.
No, because I'm not feeling to cry. I'm sad, but I'm not feeling to cry.
But are you showing
so
any-
to people, what being sad looks like is crying. But because I'm not crying, doesn't mean I'm not sad. If you understand what
It's
I'm saying.
semantics, though.
No,
I'm
because
following.
I'm
you
following,
understand where I'm
what
coming
you're saying,
from.
but it's about we talking about it faking it in the whole category means who you faking. When faking is not something internal. It's not like, okay, I know I'm a fraud or I'm faking this thing, because you know where you're building to go. You already know
your scene.
You know your scene, your skill level. You have the faking it part is because that person hasn't bought into it as yet, and you now have to give off an impression or quote unquote fool them or put on a facade.
Because when
until
you feel like a fraud, who you feel like a fraud towards?
exactly.
No, but what Johannes is saying, and you could correct me if I'm wrong, right, is saying that just the fact that you even put it on a brave face is you're already being who you say you want to be.
Yeah, but you put it on a brave face doesn't mean that you're not scared. But to the person,
Agreed.
But to the people,
But you already put it on the brave face.
but to the person or the crowd that's looking on is not privy, if you want to use that word, or is seeing that other side of you. So being brave by the very nature of it, or courage, comes from the fact that you're in a position of either fear or in a meek. Because if you are, say for example, if I say go in that water with sharks and you go okay and you jump in there, you're not really being brave. Well, that's not really courageous, because you have no fear. The fear comes. The word brave or courage comes with an element of conquering that fear.
Because
Conquering the fear?
No, it's true, because let me just say you are afraid to go with the sharks.
Right.
And I am seeing this fear in you.
Right.
But you still went
Seen
down
what
the
you-
ladder
you've seen what
slowly
you perceive
and you
as
went
fear.
down and you
Right.
swim for 5 minutes. When you come back on the boat, I still not going to look at you like you brave enough. Not because you went in the water, you are brave. I am still going to see you as a coward.
How could you not
Because
view
of the
the fact?
reality of what it is. You are scared. But you
Right.
just went for whatever reason. Maybe I
No, but-
tell you to go.
No,
or
but that
whatever.
whatever reason is the reason. So if
I
I'm
don't think
able
so.
to
I agree with
off-
that, because if you could still call him man a coward after.
Yeah, you still call him a coward.
You're wicked, boy.
Yeah.
Wicked boy, the man fought past his fears.
Because he faking it to make it. The make it part is probably to get validation from your friends. To say that, hey, you brave boy.
But even if
But
it's
that
validation,
don't mean nothing.
if somebody going a watered shark just for validation, then you're brave.
Then take the forward. Nah,
you will.
That's not brave, that's stupid.
Yeah, I will,
No, but-
I will
no,
look
but-
at you like like somebody who take chain up.
Chain up,
I will look
correct,
at it like
yeah.
I will look at a robot who just dive in now and say, hey, look at me with the sharks. That is the brave man
Oh,
on the
so
boat.
so in other words,
You're
what
the
you're
one that
saying,
looking for validation.
yeah, but I can't take that. I can't take that. That simply because, like, go back to you and journalism, right? What you're saying to me is, I can't call you. I would love to call you a journalist, but you're saying because you ain't putting your dues, you ain't putting your time, you don't know the actual theory of journalism, the real steps that the actual journalists, especially in this building, I see them, the effort is for them do.
Yeah.
I can't call you a journalist because of that.
I would say so, even though it's me talking about, but
And I
still,
highly disagree.
because in the artistic world, we see it all the time. We see people jump out one day and try to do a song and call themselves artists, but true artists will always be like, you are not an artist.
KG, hold on. I want to move this mic, right? Because the reason why I want to sit up and tell you, so because I have a pet peeve. I like, and I've said it on the show a couple of times before. When my dad was alive and we were trying to raise funds for his cancer treatment, one of the things I did is I decided I was going to do a marathon. And when I completed the marathon, or a marathon for those who don't know, because I know people call 5Ks all kind of a marathon, right? A marathon is 26.2 miles. Don't get tired. Every inch counts, and every inch after a certain time hurts painfully. And the one that I did was from St. Mary's Junction in Freeport to Whitehall in the Savannah. And when I completed it, people would come up to me and say, yeah, but you're not a marathoner. And so I would go, okay, I don't consider myself a marathoner, but the dictionary meaning states completing one or more of a distance of 26.2 miles, whether walking, rolling, crawling, running, whatever, jogging, whatever, without stopping, right? So if I did that, am I not a marathoner?
I would agree.
Whether I call myself, whether you call myself. So when you say who's a true artist or not, that is on them. You see, that now comes to whether or not they hire you.
Right.
But the definition is, if I write a song and I sing a song, and
Then you're an artist.
If nobody hear it though, you're not an
I don't
artist.
well, if nobody hears
I
it,
don't agree. I don't think our action.
well, it's not whether they agree or not. It's a matter of what is the
No,
what
I
is the
mean, I
diction-
don't think our action says who you are. So if I take that cup right now without permission, but I never pick up anything in my life before without permission, am I a thief now?
Yes.
Yes.
Forever?
Yeah.
No,
yeah.
well,
Forever?
Not
But you-
forever,
but
but
you
you
take that
say something.
situation.
Right, I stole the cup today.
Right. So you're
So
a
you
thief.
sing a
So
song
you're a thief.
today. You run a marathon today. But
So you're a
so
thief.
because you run a marathon today means you're a marathon runner?
Yes.
Nah, man.
Well,
so
okay,
so,
okay,
so
okay,
because
wait,
you went
wait,
in a
wait,
studio
wait,
and
wait.
sing
No,
a
we
song
could
in a
be-
booth.
we could be some
You're an
artists.
artist.
So we
You're
could be
an
some
artist.
artists.
Because you paint a wall. You're a
You're a
painter.
painter.
So I could tell my wife, that baby, I only want you today, you know. I am not
You
a
a
cheater.
cheater?
Yeah.
I am not a cheater.
But just
You
today.
cheated.
Just
I
today.
cheated, but I am not a cheater.
You're not a cheater.
That's
A
the
cheater
argument.
is chronic. Like you have to be cheating to be a cheater.
So,
Yeah.
but no, but let me go with KG. Let me go with KG. It's like this. I remember in school, when I was in secondary school, most people, everybody wanted to be a footballer, right?
Right.
And so when we sit down and what's the definition of a footballer? A footballer was somebody who gets paid to play football.
A professional footballer.
Right.
No. That word, that's a semantic word. A footballer is somebody
true, it's
who
true.
gets
Fine.
paid to play
If
football.
you're just sweating, it's
right.
not a footballer.
Okay.
Right, if
All
you're
right.
sweating is and not full. I remember that hit some men
like
real hard.
playing
now,
football.
Right?
You play the sport of
Men
football,
just take
but you're not a
offense to these
footballer.
things.
Right.
Gotcha.
So if I'm gonna go in with what KG to help, because I understand where KG coming from. So if I perform surgery one day, am I a doctor? No, by that definition, because it has to be somebody who practicing something.
Of
Now,
course.
the period of time, I don't know what is that period of time.
But if somebody pay you for that surgery,
No, hang on. But if you're a doctor, you have there are certain things like you must, like a pilot, you must have certain hours to
Okay,
and
yes.
time or seat
Certain
time
credentials,
to be.
yeah.
I think everything you need hours.
But what you think and what's in the dictionary is what I try to say. If a man, if in the dictionary, the understand is you sing one song, right, and whether you think the song is or not, and they have two fans, whatever the benchmark is. The man is an artist. No, there are levels, KG. So they whether be successful.
So like a
or-
one-hit
don't
wonder,
agree with
a
that.
one-hit wonder or something like that, you might say.
No,
Because if
the
somebody
artist.
sing one song,
How is
and
that?
the
Wait,
song,
wait.
the song is make a million.
I wanted one as an artist still.
so then why?
Because I'm not really talking about
You talk about the purity of it, like
Yeah.
like
Now-
like if I commit a crime right now, am I a criminal?
yes.
Forever?
I don't want
no,
forever,
you
but
don't-
right
you
now.
don't-
You can't put a tag on
until
somebody
you serve
if
your
that is not
time,
the tag.
until you serve your time, right? You're a criminal.
I like that. I like that.
Right, so if
Right.
you serve time.
Right.
No,
it-
until you,
for your
until, you,
criminal.
until you made up for there was accountability
punishment.
for your actions, is what he meant.
Did you atone for it? Did you?
because,
but if you take that cup now,
Yeah.
right now, you are a thief.
Right. Today.
Right? You.
And then tomorrow.
And tomorrow
Do
you're
you
still a
have the cup?
thief.
Did you bring back the cup?
Did I forgive
So if I
you?
bring back the go and not if I again.
Did I
That's a
forgive
good
you?
question. Because and here even in context of everything, because do I consider or people consider somebody something if they do it once, or it has to be over some kind of
But
period
the
of
action
time?
is, did you take that without permission? Who is the owner? Right? Did you ask Robert for the cup? No, you're a thief.
No, but wait, did you think that it belonged to no one
No,
and
we-
it felt
that's
like it was
semantics.
open?
That's semantics.
Nah,
No,
I think
'cause it
I'm
can be
going with
intentionally-
KG. I think I'm going with KG this one, you know, because if somebody do something once, I would say they know how to they exhibit skills of the thing,
Right.
but only if they do it over a consistent period of time, then I'll call them.
Then you are that. That I look at life.
And maybe
Yeah.
that's
In
what
certain
faking
if somebody
it.
lied to me right now.
Maybe that was faking it to make it really is, you know. Because
Yeah.
let me do something simple.
Really
A
experience.
man come by me and
It
fix
is.
a pipe once, right? in that sense, he's not a plumber, but he exhibited things that a plumber. He did plumbing. But if over time he came 2 years, 3 years, I see him do other
Right.
people
Now
house,
he's my plumber.
then I will call him a plumber.
If
I
my
think
brethren
I'll go
cut
in that.
my hair right now because I can't afford to go to the barber, I'm not going to say he's my barber. My brethren cut my hair.
Right.
I'm not going to call him
But
a barber.
over a period
he's
of
not
time-
a barber.
So, and I think that is-
one
skills
hit
of
wonder.
a barber.
I think that is-
KG, he's sticking by the faggot. You had to pay your
You
dues.
had to put in the
You
work.
had to put in your
No,
work. And I
you
admire
had to
that.
be
You had to put in your work.
consistent. You had to be
You had to
consistent to
some
be
sort of
considered.
way.
And
But
maybe that is the
consistently,
fake. Maybe that is faking
standard
part.
has to be consistent.
And with people who's fake it to make it, but a lot of them we see like it's smoke and mirrors. So I cannot call you something if I know it's smoke and mirrors. I can't call you a superstar if you just dressing like a superstar, but you know you're buying your clothes on Shein.
Yeah.
You know that kind of way. You
So nothing is wrong.
no,
Nothing
but-
is wrong for buying his clothes on Shein.
No, of course not. But let's say
Yes,
like,
there is. The chemicals in the material is very bad for you.
No,
You're trying to
right?
promote
So
that.
what it sounds like is that the faking it part of fake it till you make it is really I'm faking experience. So whether it's success, whether I'm buying the Benz, what I'm doing is I'm faking to people that I have already had the experience of success that made me was able to afford this Benz, right?
Right.
The faking it would be I am faking the experience of in your case, German, knowing German, right? The experience of it, the time of it, right? So faking is really a time-based thing.
I think so. I think so
sometimes-
now. No.
fake it for.
Correct.
I think so now.
Not just how long you will fake it for. Sometimes, like you, if you are in this position, you say, "Hey, I paid my dues," and this man comes and he might be singing just like you recognized as a good artist. Now, you will tell yourself because you know what you put in to say, "Boy, this man ain't paid you, so he's a pretender to the throne, or he should have done 20 other concerts, or he needed to run the circuit singing in a bar," and so is it also an envious thing from the person who had to toil?
Yeah,
That, and
yeah,
they're looking
yeah.
at somebody.
It had to be that.
Yeah, of course,
It
of
had to
course.
be that
Because
it's
I
subjective.
can't start my first business. I just happened to get lucky, and I started a business, and it was successful.
And you
right?
land a big contract.
Am I in entrepreneur?
No.
No?
And it
Yes.
could- no.
I would say by the definition.
No, I
yes.
think I go in with
The
KG now,
same
no.
way, wait,
Definition is what we
let
talking
me just
about,
finish
pal.
this. The same way KG, you just admitted that I was a one-hit wonder. I am not a musician. I just happened to get lucky. All the moons align. I hear a song and it busts and it take off. Right?
I mean,
Forever. Am I not an artist in your by your
one-hit
definition?
wonder?
Yeah, one-hit wonder.
No, it's according.
No, I talking for KG now. No, he's not artist.
No, it's according. We can have one-hit wonders who turned into artists now.
That's not why I'm
Right?
asking. I want you to answer
But
my
if
question.
you go into a studio right now and you sing a song and bring it back to me right now, I'm like, KJ, I now do a song. Am I an artist? I'm going to tell you no.
Fine.
No,
I'm
but
not
he said-
artist.
he
True,
said-
because you want them to
Now,
pay the dues.
You went
No,
on
if
tour.
you sing one
you tour
song.
all over the world with your one song. Of course, it's an artist song.
Let's just say, so my one song get put out and it went viral.
And you do your
right?
thing. It's how to do. Yeah.
Before I do anything,
Nah, he's an artist.
not an artist.
No.
Viral,
No,
right?
he's an artist.
I ain't do nothing.
You're trying to be artist.
3 years passed, I was home. I ain't do nothing. I ain't go on tour, I ain't do nothing. But the song still pumping, making more money than
Nah, he's an
everybody
artist.
else.
Nah, he's not.
Still
So,
not
so,
an artist.
so what do you call KG? What do you call yourself then? At that point, if
That person?
if that person came and sat down on that chair now, and I have to
Yeah.
title him, what do I call a man who trying to sing?
No, you could call
What?
him an artist, but I would not.
Then what
I
would you
wouldn't look at him
categorize?
as
What would you
artist.
categorize? What would be your title
Yes.
for them?
Exactly what we're talking about here. People who faking it to make it. I have a lot of people who doing that in today's
So
society.
somebody in the singing industry, that way, like how would you title it? Is an
I-
artist? That is what.
Well,
That's
it's
what
a-
artists do.
well-
Make music and
there,
sell it.
there are levels. Or there's a
Well, it's
subs-
according to who we talking about too. Nah? 'Cause like it have influencers who does sing
Right.
songs and then want to say there's artists. No, you
Or
are
say there's an
influencer
influencer.
who have a song. Now I watch it. Now if you have 2, 3, 4,
that's
5
interesting.
songs and now you change from being an influencer and you show me that I am intentionally trying to be an artist, then I could say, all right,
So
Miguel
back
is
to
an artist.
intentions then.
But one little song I use an artist, that to me that disrespect to the artist. Who start a certain way and build the thing.
It's sounding like it
So
just
then,
come for some
If I was a
history, you know.
footballer
Well,
and I
of
go,
course
in,
it is,
if I
of
go into
course.
training, I training every day,
Sorry.
running these laps, coach,
Right.
man, I'm running, and then my brethren just come and pick up a ball and raise 2, 3 times, and then he telling people, I'm a footballer, and I gonna feel disrespected.
So
Because
it come from a man who
it takes
paid the
work to
dues.
be these things.
Yeah, but
Correct.
if you're raising the ball, it I work.
Well, you could kick a ball, but it's not a footballer.
So I want to come because we
It's really just
right.
Sing,
I'll
but
tell,
it's not artist.
and I'll tell you what it is, right? Because we come into the close. Is that, like with parents, you want to ensure that certain parents want to make sure that the child's life is not part of your duty is in certain cases, depends on your belief, to make sure that they don't have to go through the same struggles that you did. So I wouldn't want for my son for him to start off with a mortgage and a student loan and all of these things. I say, listen, no, you should have it easier so that you can just be all you can be without the unnecessary pressures. But other families might say, nah, that's to build character.
I want you go through
I want you go through it. And other persons be say depends on how you put that out there, is that you could be creating a weak man. There's also that conversation by making it easy and giving a child all that they need. The man doesn't have to toil. And I'm saying that you could toil in other ways. And in KG's case, because he's toiled, to somebody else coming and getting it easy, not on that. So don't call yourself an artist. Call yourself somebody who write a song.
Or you don't call yourself
Yeah, you don't call yourself
You
artist.
put in the work and then let the people come back and say,
But
hey,
coming back to
you working hard, boy.
fake it till you make it on a negative side,
Yeah.
right? This is my closing. Fake it till you make it on a negative side is outside of the term fake it till you make it, is people who actually are faking it, make it, but make it off a false premise and take away from the opportunities that other people who are really genuine may have had. And also, in doing that, can disrupt and cause dangerous scenarios, like somebody who's a doctor or a pharmacist. That's why you hear words like quack and things like that, because they've put themselves in a space. And you know that saying, Peter pay for Paul and Paul pay for all? As a result of that now, other measures get put in place, and it now becomes harder for other persons who may be genuine and lost an opportunity because of someone who has faked it not to make it for the wrong reasons, put out all kinds of things there, and can't, as we use the word, constantly deliver.
I could ask one question. I know we
Sure.
had a cut, but 4 of us say, you all ever faked it to make it in the field that you're in right now?
For
You would say
sure.
that?
For
in
sure.
what way? In what way though? Like,
I lie on my resume to come and work for Guardian.
You can't be telling me that on the show,
I
buddy,
mean,
because it's like...
I mean, I can't, no, but that's the reality.
but you
of
ever
it.
fake your skill set?
I fake my skill set.
In what way?
I was not as strong of a producer than I was, but now I have the strength. Now I have the know-how.
But were you perceiving yourself as this great producer?
No, I knew I was faking it. I'm not self-delusional.
No, like you were faking it to your peers? Like you were making them believe, like, because I don't say I'm a journalist, because I am humble enough to understand that I have a lot
That
of
word
more,
humble again.
a lot more experience now. But were you
To my
you know?
peers, they thought I was of a level, because back to the example I gave, they didn't know any better. So they looking at me, they watching me like, oh, Nile is the man.
Right. And in
Right?
your heart, you knew that you
Them-
was in
but
the man.
but here the heights behind that. They looking at me is probably what brought the eyes of Guardian Media to me, right? Of hey, this youth man doing something. He have little skills, blah 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 blah. I get called to do a show, to make a game show. Did I know anything about that? No. Would I say I don't know anything about that? No. But
you
no.
were called out on it, because I did see that you were inexperienced. And as a result of that, bringing you on board, I will call you out on the show to say
Fine.
that when you come with information, you say, okay, well, initially when you're doing your research and you're looking for somebody to fill that gap, but as you start to go along, you understand that there's certain things that come with experience that were being missed.
Of
And
course.
exactly. So therefore, in not faking it till you make it, it would have been better even at that point to say, hey, I'm looking for an opportunity. And you'd go from, say, a producer to maybe a production assistant, and then you go into assistant producer. But when you come on a set and somebody says, okay, there's a skill set of a particular cameraman, and you say, okay, based on your resume, I no longer need to look at that, and I can trust in that person. And then when you come back, the footage blurred, or they don't know how to
No,
use
I
the
see it
camera.
happen a million times. Yeah.
There's a difference. So I would say to you, because of the other aspects that I would have seen in terms of the creative flow with regards to you, is why we just moved along till you're now at a position that I would say you are a producer. But initially,
But on the other side of that, it could have been somebody who was actually more
I could have just
capable
fired you.
and qualified. Correct. There's my point. My point is, so it worked for me.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
Of
Practically.
course. Yeah.
And that's why.
and I want to take before we close. I want to take away that message because it didn't work for you. You had the fortunate fact that I was able to look past that. But in another circumstance,
But
what I'm
then
saying,
it did work.
But it worked for me.
okay, well it worked. It
Because
worked
why
for
you
you
look past it?
Exactly.
What was the
Because
immediate
I-
reason you look
because
past it?
Go ahead.
because of the other aspects in there, and of course you also become friends. So you look past certain things, and if you also the way I may do things, if someone's not doing something, I just do it. I just get it done because to me it's a matter of wanting to see something a particular way, and someone's not doing it, I just get it done. Now, would I use you again? That's where the scenario comes in. I'm saying that in his circumstance, he is an anomaly. It may have worked for him, but I could tell you they've had 10 other persons who have done it,
And then
and
they
they
get called
tried,
back.
and they throw get bus.
But that's why I say, and I consider you a very good man, not only manager, production, and director, right? So even if the other people who, and I wasn't the first person in that position, your boss Ariel Schultz, right?
You say that. I also give people plenty of opportunities.
The fact that it
right?
had a space
Say that.
for
I also
me.
give people
No, the real opportunities, which I appreciate, but the space was there because somebody had to literally got fired before, right? They faked it. They was not able to fill the gap
They
where
weren't competent. And I notice us saying that because that is the deciding factor between fake and real is competency. No matter what you call yourself and you say you do, once you have competency, and KG and we and he asks if he asked him or us if when we ever fake. I remember once I gave us a talk right early in my career, and somebody come to me and say, "You're real good at this, boy, right? How many years you doing this now?" And I tell them it's the first time. But when I went up, I was frightened. The night before, I read and looking all kind of things. The weeks before, but would you say it's fake? Because I didn't say, but yeah, it's really as I doing this. No, that is lying, and that is being fake. I was honest. But they say you handle yourself well. You look like you was frightened. Now you wasn't frightened. You look like, and so in that moment I was faking it till I make it. But it was a good speech. So there was competency, so it means I wasn't fake. And I think for me, my takeaway is we using the term faking it till you make it is you put your best face, your effort forward, even though you mightn't be really as experienced, you mightn't reach the stage you reach yet. But there has to be some sort of competency with it. There has to be some sort of competency, and you're not lying. So you could say it's only they my first time, or it's only a year doing this now, or this is my first song, right? But you could actually say it, but they your first song. No, you handle yourself good, but so that means they was faking it.
Correct.
But at least they had the competency, and for me, that is why I taken away is that. No matter what it is, the process or even how you see yourself, once there's some sort of competency, which means it's real, then you're along the right path.
Definitely.
All right, I like that. So let me give my closing, right? Competency, intentions. Once you have those two things in your back pocket and what you want to accomplish, it don't matter what you do in between that. Everything after that is marketing. That's where the fake it part coming, right? And I do believe that if you do sing one song,
You're the artist.
and that song was sold to
KG, what
people,
you realize.
whether you paint it, whether you do a painting and you sell it to one person, you might be in the beginning of the story that is you being an artist, because
Right.
everything is a scale.
That is what it is.
You're in the beginning,
You're in the beginning
but
stages.
you are an artist. You are an artist, okay?
Yeah.
Lovely.
Once the intentions are...
Once you know that you want to continue and be this.
Because you say intention, you know.
Intention
some people
and
have-
competency.
And some people have...
You're closing.
You know, some people don't have the right intention.
Fair enough.
So as I say, it has some influencers who might just go in a studio because they see people making it off of music. To me, that is not what a
I
real
agree.
artist is.
I agree.
Yeah.
As you're closing,
So,
But he's still an artist.
well, I mean, use anything you want to be, you know, that kind of way. But to me, you have to still deal with people telling you are not an artist. Just like how I had to deal with people telling me I'm not a journalist. And I had no problem with that. Like, I understand that people like Robert and them putting real years into this thing, and certain experiences you had to go through, certain things you had to see to understand what is journalism. Like, I still learning exactly what is journalism. Like, Robert gave me some advice outside there, and it makes sense to me. Like, nobody ever tell me that before, so I know I learning. So for me to come out here and be like, I scared the journalist, but not me, nah. I not on that. You know, I am a learning, growing individual, and maybe a year from now, I will come out and say, yeah,
with
I'm a
consistency.
journalist.
But somebody
But
you know,
wait,
from now on say that,
And I
you
really
know,
enough to just
So let
Yeah.
me close with that then, because if you're doing the things, if it walks like a cat, smells like a cat, looks like a cat, then it's a cat. If you're doing everything that is required by the standards of journalism,
Right.
then you are a journalist. It's not up for someone.
So am I a journalist?
yes.
So
Our rubber to tell.
Okay.
yes, based on the criteria and what you're bringing to the public. But there are standards and there are levels of journalism and there's levels of experience, right? So in terms of doing deeper dives, investigation into that, I would say that, right?
There's levels to everything, basically.
There are levels, again, scale. So whether you do one song, whether you now start, if you're considering that, but again, as you said, it's all about development. And I would say it's the confidence in your ability and where as we say, fake it till you make it, is to really say, if you're confident in what you're doing and confident in your journey and where you're going with it, and you're willing to put in the hard work and the dues, and it's a matter of the perception of others while you're doing it, then that in itself is your shield while you're going through that development, while you're going through that metamorphosis. And that's what we mean by the intention and the positive intention of faking it till you make it. Because the intention must be there, the commitment must be there, the hard work. But we know we live in a society of judgment and ridicule and perceptions. And therefore, while you're going there, you know, there's that saying where people say, when you're going along a certain path, keep it to yourself, keep it to your chest.
Right.
And that's what I think it means when you say fake it till you make it. On that journey, keep it close to your chest while you're developing until you're strong enough to come out with all your armor, to be able to say, here I am, stand up to ridicule, and more so to be able to look in the mirror and be confident in what you say you are.
Definitely.
So this is manhood, faking it till you make it. I think to a certain extent we've made it. We were developing all along, but now we say,
Give
you know, we
thanks.
always say, you know, we're not trying to speak on behalf of all men, and now we say we're speaking on behalf of all men for certain topics, right? So this is manhood. Johanse, KG, Nile. See you for the next one.
Manhood, brought to you in part by Solomon's Bespoke.